Kris Boyd believes Rangers have made zero upgrades on last year. Welcome back to Fog Football. Well, before we get into my opinions on if Rangers have made any upgrades or not, we're going to have to hear what Kris Boyd had to say. So this was during yesterday's coverage of Aberdeen and Celtic. This was prior to kick-off, but this is what he had to say, because as we know, when Sky does this, they tend to just recap all the games, and they did recap all the games, but they obviously began with the talking point. The Rangers dropping yet again more points at home to Dundee, as we had to say. And I quote, Dundee deserve a lot of credit. Stephen Presley came away to set up and they had opportunities. They hit Rangers on the counter-attack a few times, albeit Rangers went down to 10 men. For Russell Martin, it would be a worry. You go from the highs of Tuesday night, and we've seen it again from Rangers in Europe. The result against Pilsen was very good, and there was glimpses in that performance where you would say, okay, there's something maybe starting to happen. But then there's also phases of play that would worry you. And last Saturday against Motherwell, and yesterday, you look at managers who've come in previously and at the start of their regime, they've been able to get a reaction at the players domestically. It doesn't seem to be happening for Martin. End of quote. So yeah, he's not got into the upgraded side of things, but as he said, I mean, the managers' bounces that we have seen recently, right? 10, I'll say recently, the last couple of years, like whether it's Beale, whether it's Clement, etc. I mean, I'm not even going to fire Gio in there because Gerrard wasn't sacked and we didn't need a bounce, although it would have helped that year. But with Beale, bounce immediately, and Clement, we got a bounce immediately. Barry Ferguson didn't exactly get a bounce, but it's kind of similar, to be honest, with Barry, because there were some good performances in Europe. Beat Celtic at Parkhead, but then how many other games, man, against the Dross in this league did Rangers come up short again? So a lot of similarities. And this is what he had to say regarding Martin, and I quote, well, if you do it every time, the players just switch off from it. There's no doubt a few of them that needed a rocket last Saturday, and they got that. But I look at the Rangers team yesterday. Gazma's come in on the left-hand side, and it's very difficult to judge him against anything from last season. Hadji played there a few times. Igamani sometimes played off the left. Hell, even Cyril Dessers too. Ant-Man is just in the door, so it's difficult to compare him to Tierney, but Tierney's numbers last year were through the roof in terms of goal contributions. Other than that, I don't really see Rangers having upgraded in any position. De Giga has done well, but he's on loan. Leon Balogun made defensive tackles and clearances. I know towards the end he was injured a fair bit, but I don't look at the Giga and think you're a massive upgrade on Balogun. Max Aarons is definitely not an upgrade on James Tavernier. Joe Rothwell has come into the middle of the pitch, and I know it's a different style of play that Rangers are wanting him to play right now. But I don't see him as an upgrade as it stands on Raskin. Lyle Cameron is a tidy enough little player, but Rangers have got a lot of work to do. The worry for Russell Martin so early in the season will be that Rangers in Europe have managed to find performances, but against teams where you're expecting them to win, it's not happening. End of quote. Right, so what I'm going to do is go through goalkeeper to up front, right, and I'll tell you what positions I believe have been upgraded, right. But before that, he talks about he doesn't think Joe Rothwell's an upgrade on Raskin. Of course he's not. But Joe Rothwell was not brought in to replace Raskin, well, at least in my eyes. Joe Rothwell was brought in to play in a midfield with Raskin and Diamondi. So I don't really understand that from Boyd. I know Raskin's been dropped the last couple of games, but that's kind of just been a reaction for what happened on last Saturday, which to me, I think all bets are off. I mean, I can see Tav coming back into this 11. I can see Raskin coming back into this 11. Kieran Doyle, I don't know what's going on there between him and Russell Martin, but whatever's happening, I wouldn't be surprised to see him back in the 11s, to be perfectly honest. And yeah, I mean, Cortez is the Dials, not the Dials, the Baramis, they'll probably be in. The fact of the matter is this, I think with Max Aarons, the problem is we've signed him on loan, and there's probably some sort of guarantee in there that he has to play X amount of games, or else he'll be getting called back. So I believe if Tav comes back in, Max Aarons will go back out to the left. I believe that's what will happen. But anyway, enough of me talking pish. Let's get into the goalkeeping positions. Right, we've not brought a goalie in. We have been linked with a goalie, but it's the same as last year, so we haven't lost anything. I'd argue Butland looks a bit better than last year, so yeah, do we want to say an upgrade? Who knows? Let's look at the left back situation. We haven't brought a left back in. Max Aarons can play left back, so if you add that in on top of Yefte and Yilmaz, is it an upgrade? I'm going to hint at no. Right back, well, we've brought Max Aarons in on top of Tavernier. To me, is it an upgrade? Yeah, it is. Even if you think Aarons ain't better than Tav, right? We've upgraded the area. It's got better because last season, Dujon Sterling got injured, and Kazim Weirjo was injured from like November time. So essentially, Tav was just in that position all the time, all the time. Nothing stopped him getting at that. Now we've actually got two options at right back, and when Sterling returns, we'll have three, so that's good. So to me, I think we've upgraded the right back position. Left back, no, because we haven't brought one in, even if Aarons can play left back. So for me, we've not upgraded the goalie position, but we've upgraded right back. We've not upgraded left back. Into the centre backs position, we've lost Leon Balogun, we've lost Robin Proper, and then Sal's away on loan, isn't he? And Leon King's away on loan, I believe. I think. So that leaves us with De Giga, who's been brought in on loan. John Suter's still at the club. And we have got Fernandez and a few youngsters, right? That's what's happening there. I mean, I'm not going to go through every youngster, but I mean, have we upgraded it? To me, De Giga so far looks like he will be match fit, and he looks just as good as Balogun when he's at his best. So I'm going to say that's been upgraded, right? Because he will be able to play way more games than Leon Balogun, even if it is just a couple. We've lost Robin Proper. Is Fernandez better than Robin Proper? We haven't seen hee-haw of him. So for me, it's hard to argue that the centre-back position has been upgraded, but I think just due to the fact that De Giga is going to be available, which is ironic because he's suspended a lot more, I'm willing to lean on to the fact that, you know what, it's actually been upgraded, so I'll accept that. Moving into midfield. Midfield for me has been upgraded. We've brought in the likes of Lau Cameron, we've brought in the likes of Joe Rothwell, and we haven't really lost anyone from like the defensive to the centre of the park. We've kept Raskin, we've kept Diamonde, we've got Bailey Rice, we've got Connor Barron, we've added Joe Rothwell, we've added Lau Cameron. Now, I think that area of the pitch in the midfield's been upgraded, but if I look at the cam role, the creative midfielder role, we are truly lacking like a number 10. Haji's away, Tom Lawrence is away, and I'm not saying those guys should have been kept, especially Tom Lawrence, but we are lacking a creative midfielder. But here, Tilo Asgard, he's been brought in. He can play there. He can kind of play anywhere across that front three. So for me, the midfield's been upgraded. I don't care what you say, it's been upgraded. I'm not looking at it as a point of, well, is Joe Rothwell replacing Raskin? He's not replacing Raskin. He's supposed to be another piece of that puzzle. Just Russell Martin doesn't have any idea how to use these pieces of the puzzle, right? I look at the left wing position. We've brought in Mikey Moore on loan, and we've brought in Gazima. If you don't think that's an upgrade on the left wing position last year, where we were playing strikers and creative midfielders on the left, then I don't really know what to tell you, because it is that is an upgrade. To the right, we've lost Tierney, and we've brought in Ant-Man. He's had 2 games, and it's 2 very different games. The game against Victoria Pilsen, he looked fantastic. Game against Dundee, not so much. I mean, I think he was one of the few bright sparks against Dundee. Not going to pretend he was good. He wasn't. So, to me, that's not an upgrade, but it could be. We just don't know how the season's going to play out. And then up front, we've literally not lost anyone, and we've not brought anyone in. So that's not an upgrade. I think we've upgraded a few positions, but I just don't think Russell Martin's getting a tune at them in the way that he possibly could. There's no excuses for me. Yeah. You know, like, and also we got to bear in mind. Let's say there is no upgrades in last year. Would we honestly say the team's much worse if you think there is none? It's not. To me, it's better. To me, the team on paper is better. It's just that we appear worse at the low block, and that has hindered us. You know, in Europe, I mean, say you want, it's 2 wins and a draw in Champions League qualifying, albeit some not good performances. But I don't care. Honestly, I don't care about performances as long as we win. That's the most important thing in Europe, and that's what we're doing. It's in the league. Yeah, I mean, come on, man. I don't know, but for me, I think Boyd's wrong to say there's no upgrades on last year. But you can leave your thoughts down below. I'm going to get to my bed because I'm hanging on here. I'm dead. Till next time. Peace.